and inflation looks on.
This is WLBC.
It's time for the Bloomberg Business Flash. A look at some of the biggest business stories in the news right now. Toronto Dominion Bank will pay more than $1.2 billion to settle claims by investors that it aided with $7 billion Ponzi scheme. Settlements were also reached with HSBC and independent bank group. Stanford's scheme collapsed 14 years ago. He's now serving a 110-year sentence for fraud and money laundering. Citigroup expects it will cost about $190 million to wind down its consumer and institutional banking operations in Russia. The bank decided to end those services after Russia and Ukraine. Citi also says it has $3.1 billion of country risk exposure to Russia. And Elon Musk may have turned off some consumers last year, but Tesla was no worse for wear in an annual analysis of car brands' U.S. customer retention. S&P Global Mobility recognized electric car maker both for overall brand loyalty and most improved loyalty in 2022. And that is your latest business flash, Alex.
All right, thanks so much, Ritika. It is 23 past 7 on the West Coast. Want to get to the startup? We're going to cover the top tech stories from the Bay Area and beyond as Silicon Valley starts its morning. Joining us now is Bloomberg's Alex Webb, but from London. But, you know, it counts. Hey, Alex, the big story, Twitter, more job cuts?
Yes, it certainly looks that way. We don't know the number, but there are some big names in the mix, not least the CEOs, leadership of some companies that were acquired by Twitter over the years. There had been seemingly some hesitation to let some of those guys go, and it's because, of course, you have to then significant amounts of stock to make them go away. So it looks as though they might have found a solution to that. Some people reporting, the information reported, 50 jobs that have gone, but critically, some significant names.
So who's left? Like, is there any more fat to be trimmed here?
Well, you know, they've got rid of about half the headcount of 7,000. You know, the fact that they have got rid of that many so far, we have seen impacting some of the products. There have been some problems in terms of a few weeks ago, you couldn't post tweets for some people, you couldn't follow people. So some would argue too much fat has already been cut. Depends how you look at it. If you look at the outflows in terms of the value of the debt that needs to be, or the cash that needs to be serviced, so the cash that's needed in order to service the debt obligations, you know, they need to find more constantly, it would seem, particularly as anecdotally you hear that, you know, advertisers pulling back to an extent. So can they afford to from a product perspective? Maybe not. Do they need to from a capital perspective? Maybe.
So yeah, I was going to ask sort of like who is this for? Is this for the debt holders? Is this for the advertisers? Or is this going to be for the potential new CEO that may come at some point? Like, clearly Elon Musk is going to trim fat to show it to somebody. Like, who's the most important audience?
Well, I'm not sure it's even necessarily about showing it to someone. It's really about, you know, being able to pay the bills, right? If the company is going to fund itself and be able to pay down its debt or service its debt obligations, while in addition keeping everything operating in terms of servers, all that sort of thing, it has to cut costs. Now, you know, if he's trying to find new investors, I think the fact that you're cutting costs at the moment doesn't necessarily help you do that. But what you need to do is actually make yourself more profitable. That actually means bringing more revenue, because then you can justify the sort of valuation that they've been seeking.
Right. I feel like it's definitely a 360, like no matter which way you look at it, like chicken or egg situation. Alex, thank you. We appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining us on that. Bloomberg's Alex Webb. All right, coming up, deal's done again for the 15th time. Now we're going to get the hard sell. We're going to be hearing from UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak and European President Ursula von der Leyen on the Brexit deal. We're going to take you live to this press conference when it happens. They then have to go back and sell it to constituents, particularly Northern Ireland and the DUP party, as well as Brexiteers and hardliners within the Tory party. We'll be bringing that to you live. This is Bloomberg.
It is Monday, but it still feels like we're dealing with Friday. Markets doing their best, though, to get over that sort of post-PCE shock.
Yeah, exactly. We do see actually futures rising here. So after a surprise to the upside for inflation, a concern obviously for the markets, because that means the Fed has to raise higher or at least hold there for longer. We see a little bit of a bounce in terms of S&P futures. Right now up just shy of 0.5%. We also see a continued climb in 10-year yields. So this actually provides a little bit of a headwind to stocks right now.
This is WLBT First Alert Weather.
It is Monday that we're dealing with Friday. Markets doing their best, though, to get over that sort of post-PCE shock.
Yeah, exactly. See actually futures rising here. So after
At ADP, we use data-driven insights to design HR solutions to provide flexible pay options and greater workforce visibility today, so you can have more success tomorrow.
This is WLBT First Alert Weather.
And with the sunset, to having a drink with your friends and family, that's amazing.
So what does it take to do something like this? And I'm thinking cost, engineering, time.
Yeah, a lot of effort from a lot of people. So it starts from just the design and the conceptual aspect of it. Then we need to figure out a lot of technical factors, the weight, the wind, and so lots and lots of hours of really hard work. And every time we up the game, we see that customer willing to spend more.
It is Monday, but it still feels like we're dealing with Friday. Markets doing their best, though, to get over that sort of post-PCE shock.
yeah,
This is WLBT First Alert Weather.
We're about an hour into the U.S. trading session on this Monday. Volume light. Abigail.
This is WLBT.
Yeah, we're looking at pretty solid gains here, Alex, on the day. We have this S&P 500.
Air, even though it was relatively new and was designed to handle such conditions. Investigators say 5 people were killed when the Pilatus PC-12 around 19,000 feet. The medical air service company, CareFlight, confirmed there were no survivors. The victims include the pilot, 2 flight medical personnel, and a patient, as well as a member of the patient's family. CareFlight is now grounding the rest of its aircraft, pending an investigation. And fans of a Turkish soccer team gave a moving show of love and support for the country's earthquake victims. The crowd showered the stadium with stuffed animals. The players then ran out to collect the toys, while the scoreboard displayed license plate numbers of the 11 provinces impacted by the earthquake. The toys are said to be donated to young earthquake survivors. And the Ohio EPA has started monitoring groundwater near the scene of the toxic train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio. The cautionary step comes as cleanup crews work to remove millions of gallons of liquid waste from the area. Now, multiple federal agencies are going door to door to check on families that may have been impacted. Alex Pershade is in East Palestine, Ohio.
Shipments of contaminated waste resuming as cleanup crews ramp up plans to offload tons of water and soil from that toxic.
I love that song. We're back with 2 very famous faces in fashion. A supermodel who has graced the worldwide covers of Vogue over 35 times, and a fashion designer, TV personality best known for Queer Eye. Now, Gigi Hadid and Tan France are co-hosting season 2 of Netflix Next in Fashion. Please welcome them both here live to Good Morning America. It's exciting to have you here.
I think it's so fun when you space the cover of Vogue so many times.
35, come on now.
Can you believe it? My face has been everywhere.
It has been. And you two, can I just say, I mean, season 1, you were the co-host then.
Yeah.
Great. Season 2 with this woman right here. Oh, Matt, you have been friends for a couple of years. How did that friendship impact season 2?
in so many ways. So we've known each other for 5 years now, and we know each other intimately. Like I her
Like
home.
brother, sister.
Yeah. Like with not all the glam and all that stuff. So I think it affected the season in such a major way where you can just tell that
We're having fun.
us. We're basically at home, but the camera's on.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing.
We're goofing around. We had a really good time.
There's nothing overly produced. It's just me and her chilling.
Yeah.
You know what it seemed like? Can I just interject here? It's like when you're at home watching an award show with your friends and you're commenting on the fashion. That's what it seems like with you all.
And we did.
Yeah, you get a glimpse into what life is like, or what
And it's-
typically not.
Yeah, but you can be friends with someone, but you rarely get to then see them in the work environment. And I think it was pretty clear, like on our first day of working together for the first time, that we really are friends because we have a similar demeanor. We're there to get the job done, but we have fun, and we also
And
we balance.
we respect when one of us wants to just be on our phone for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And when we know how to be silent.
Or if I just need a nap at lunch, like
we
don't
always
take
need
it
a
personally.
we always need an nap at lunch.
It's great. That authenticity really
Yeah.
comes through. And you do have sort of a brother-sister dynamic,
Yeah.
which brings to the fact that there's also a sister-sister dynamic here at play. Your sister is one of the judges.
Yes.
Also, Donatella Versace, Haley Bieber came on, Isabel Mo- also a judge. So how were they as judges? Who was the toughest?
As of this weekend, we know that all but 11 cars have been removed. Those 11 cars being a part of the NTSB's investigation, and they're pretty much on private property. We got a chance to go
And we will end the situation where food made to UK rules could not be sent to and sold in Northern Ireland. This means that if food is available on supermarket shelves in Great Britain, then it will be available on supermarket shelves in Northern Ireland. And unlike the protocol, today's agreement...
The WLBT First Alert Weather.
the UK, for example, on alcohol duty, meaning out.
4 other U.S. agencies, as well as a national intelligence panel, they're sticking with their original assessment, also offered with low confidence, that COVID-19 first infected people in nature, jumping from
Using a garden hose shouldn't be a hassle. That's why we built the tardigrade steel hose. The inner diameter of tardigrade steel hose is wider compared to other metal garden.
This is WLBT First Alert Weather.
Automatically available in every pharmacy and hospital in Northern Ireland.
But this morning, the Chinese Foreign Ministry responded to the Energy Department report telling the U.S. to, quote, stop speculating. So we're still...
in the case of a Chinese invasion, to hopefully deter Beijing from doing that.
And I Isaac, should that happen, what does you've got the UN, the permanent members of the Security Council, which China and Russia are members of. If what you're suggesting comes to pass, that old world order should technically be done and go away.
Yes, it's hard to imagine.
We begin this morning with new reporting on the origins.
We all know what happens after people get married. They might have a kid, they might need to expand, they might need more room. And again, the people that we blame the last few years for making the real estate market difficult, those are the heroes.
This is WLBT First Alert Weather.
Will have a veto. This gives the institutions of the
asked him to, and that gun was allegedly used to shoot and kill 23-year-old Jamia Harris near UA's campus back in mid-January. Miles, who...
I love that song. We're back with 2 very famous faces in fashion. A supermodel who has graced the worldwide covers of Vogue over 35 times, and a fashion designer, TV personality, best known for Queer Eye. Now, Gigi Hadid and Tan France are co-hosting season 2 of Netflix Next in Fashion. Please welcome them both here live to Good Morning America. It's exciting to have you here.
I think this is one who's graced the cover of Vogue so many times.
35, come on now.
Can you believe it? My face has been everywhere.
It has been. And you two, can I just say, I mean, season 1, you were the co-host then.
Yeah.
Great. Season 2 with this woman right here. Oh, it's for a couple of years. How did that friendship impact season 2?
In so many ways. So we've known each other for 5 years now, and we know each other intimately. Like I know her in her
Like
home.
brother, sister.
Yeah, like with not all the glam and all that stuff. So I think it affected the season in such a major way where you can just tell that
We're having
us. We're basically at home, but the camera's on.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing.
We're goofing around. We had a really good time.
There's nothing overly produced. It's just me and her chilling.
You know what it seemed like? Can I just interject here? It's like when you're at home watching an award show with your friends and you're commenting on the fashion. That's what it seems like with you all.
And we did. You get a glimpse into what life is like when the camera's up.
And it's
typically off.
Yeah, but it's interesting. Like you can be friends with someone, but you rarely get to them in the work environment. And I think pretty clear, like on our first day of working together for the first time, that we really are friends because we have a similar demeanor. We're there to get the job done, but we have fun, and we also
we respect when one of us wants to just be on our phone for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And when we know how to be silent.
Or if I just need a nap at lunch, like
we always need a nap at lunch.
That authenticity really comes through. And you do have sort of a brother-sister dynamic, which brings me to the fact that there's also a sister-sister dynamic here at play. Your sister is one of the judges.
Yes.
Also, Donatella Versace, Hailey Bieber came on Laurent, also a judge. So how were they as judges? Who was the toughest?
Down. I treasured that. I couldn't sit there.
You're doing good, Joy. You're doing good.
Oh yeah, baby. It was crazy.
Behind the Table. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
This is ABC News Live Prime.
Hey there, I'm Lindsay Davis. Thanks so much for streaming with us.
Live reporting, breaking news, exclusives, award-winning, powerful, eye-opening.
How lucky. This is WLBT First Alert Weather.
Delivered on that commitment. Because today we have reached an agreement in principle on the Windsor Framework. The Windsor Framework lays down new arrangements.
Sexual humiliation. That's only the half of it.
Watching the documentary for the first time was so emotional.
I have no memory of that happening.
If you wanted to get to your relief, you would.
Under His Spell, Impact by Nightline, now streaming on Hulu.
This is ABC News Live.
The crush of families here in Poland.
At refugee centers.
I love that song. We're back with two very famous faces in fashion. A supermodel who has graced the worldwide of Vogue 35 times, and a fashion TV personality best known for Queer Eye. Now, Gigi Hadid and Tan France are co-hosting season 2 of Netflix Next in Fashion. Please welcome them both here live to Good Morning America. It's exciting to have you here.
I think this is one who's graced the cover of Vogue so many times.
35, come on now.
Can you believe it? My face has been everywhere.
It has been. And you two, can I just say, I mean, season 1, you were the co-host. Great. Season 2 with this woman right here. Oh, I've been friends for a couple of years. How did that friendship impact season?
There's so many ways. So we've known each other for 5 years now, and we know each other intimately. Like I know her in her home.
Brother, sister.
Like with not all the glam and all that stuff. So I think the season in such a major way where you can just tell that You know what? We're basically at home, but the camera's on.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing.
We're goofing around. We had a really good time.
There's nothing overly produced. It's just me and her chilling.
You know what it seemed like? Can I just interject here? It's like when you're at home watching an award show with your friends and you're commenting on the fashion. That's what it seems like with you all.
And we did.
You get a glimpse into what life is like, but when the camera's up,
And it's
typically off.
Yeah, but it's interesting. Like you can be friends with someone, but you rarely get to then see them in the work environment. And I think it was pretty clear, like on our first day of working together for the first time, that we really are friends because we have a similar demeanor. We're there to get the job done, but we have fun, and we also have a good balance.
We respect when one of us wants to just be on our phone for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And when we know how to be silent.
Or if I just need a nap at lunch, like
we always need a nap.
We always need a nap. Authenticity really comes through. We do have sort of a sister dynamic, which brings me to the fact that there's also a sister dynamic here at play. Your sister is one of the judges.
Yeah.
Also, Donatella Versace, Haley Bieber came on, Isabel Marant, also a judge. So how were they as judges? Who was the toughest?
The toughest?
I'm gonna say Bella.
Really?
Bella was just too nice to everyone.
No, but she's saying who was the toughest on people.
No. Oh, who's the toughest? Well, yeah.
I don't know. What I will say is I think that my favorite part of this was bringing fashion people to this platform where they really get to show themselves, and not only putting them in front of designers and giving them that experience, which is like so incredible to watch, but also giving the world this kind of inside view on these iconic fashion people that they really only see in like photos. And Donatella, what an icon, to see her really like in front of people and being such the warm and kind and encouraging person that she is. I think it really gives a cool new view of that.
No one was harsh. Truly, no one was. They were just there to help these designers.
Yeah, criticism, but that's a change. It's right, and what is done in fashion is cool too. So might as well be from Donatella.
Also, you guys had some fun in there. So let's just say some comedic moments. So a wardrobe malfunction.
No enjoyment, no laughter. So here's the thing. She dresses amazingly. However, she also doesn't know how to behave herself. So she wants to skip around. She wants to jump on things. Carry down there. Yeah, well, that's it. What I loved about having Gigi this season is that she doesn't just stand there and say the thing. She wants to get involved. You would find her on the floor.
On the Ryan Showing team, against the rules, we can't help them, obviously. But like, I really was wishing I could like be a part of getting into
So when someone's that playful, they're bound to be wardrobe malfunction.
It's part of a good TV, exactly. I've learned you guys have little ones, which is also probably another bonding experience. But we have to wonder, what does a perfect play date look like for Gigi and Sam's little guys?
Well, our kids are really similar ages. They're both toddlers, so it wouldn't be relaxing. When they are toddlers.
Something like crafty.
Very crafty.
We're both very crafty. We did a lot of stuff on. But I mean, kind of got cut. But it might come out at some point. But we did a lot of like really crafty stuff together. And
I think it would be like, I would get them involved with beads and paint. So yeah.
That sounds very stylish.
Oh, you are together. It's adorable.
This is First Alert Weather.
Here, talking more about the weather. Hey, good morning. Yeah.
Differently, according to the European Court of Justice will have jurisdiction.
I'll just actually just echo what I just said, John, actually, about, yes, of course, politics matters, and parties in Northern Ireland, the unions will want to take the time to consider what we've announced today, digest the. We should give them the time and the space to do that. But if you focus on people, on families, on communities, on businesses, I think people will see that the framework we've agreed today delivers significant improvements in almost every aspect of their lives that have seen disruption and challenge from the protocol. And that is something that I think can be celebrated and recognised, and that benefit will start very quickly. Now, there are a range of things that I heard when I talked to communities in Northern Ireland, and because of the breadth and the comprehensive nature of this framework, and you heard some of it in my remarks earlier, I think we're addressing all those practical challenges and indeed safeguarding sovereignty as well. And I know that's something that's particularly important to communities in Northern Ireland. With regard to the role of EU law, we've recognised with the consent of people in Northern Ireland has access to the single market, and I think we all collectively share an ambition to a hard border between Northern Ireland and the Republic, and that's why there's a role for EU law in Northern Ireland, but that happens with consent, and as a result of the agreements that we've reached today, there is further democratic accountability of that role of EU law with the new Stormont break, which provides a very powerful mechanism for the Stormont institution to use when it has concerns. And I think that is a really important part of correcting the democratic deficit that existed and providing reassurance to everyone in Northern Ireland that they are in control of their own destiny.
The European Court of Justice is.
So we're just listening in there to a press conference with British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak and European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen announcing the details, or at least some of the details, of the so-called Windsor Protocol in order to get Brexit done. In other words, to solve the Northern Ireland border problem. Let's get into this more. Let's get analysis of what we've heard. Joining us now is Bloomberg's Joe Mays, next to me here at Westminster, and Dublin Bureau Chief Marwana Coniam. Joe, let me start with you. We had Ursula von der Leyen calling this a new chapter in long-lasting solution. Now, apart from just the details we heard there at that moment, what does this mean if they can get something done for the EU and UK relations?
Well, it can be a big reset in that relationship, which has been slightly poisoned by this ongoing spat over. There are issues such as financial services, such as small boat crossings from France into the UK, Gibraltar, cooperation on science. There's so many areas where the UK-EU relationship could be improved, but this has been a stumbling block. So the hope really now is that this gets done, just sell this framework, he's calling it, to his party, it's passed, and then the relationship can move to a more positive dynamic, which we've been struggling with because of this issue. So that's the hope from today's breakthrough.
Right, that's certainly the hope. Marwana, let me give this question to you as well. How will this likely be received in Dublin and in the EU as a whole? All right, I think we might have some issues with Marwana there, so we'll come back to her in just a moment. Joe, what's the latest?
EP accept the deal. Lawmakers on both sides have to approve. The first thing is here that what's being said about removing the border, that is one of his key demands, and that is something that they found is to have an issue with. A lot of businesses felt the protocol actually worked very well for them potentially because they had access to the EU single market. So I think we'll have to see a little bit how it's received once those details come out and once we know in fact whether the DUP are going to agree. But certainly from the EU's perspective and from Ireland's perspective, it's a very positive development, and there has been a lot of optimism there because it's just so important to these East-West relations as well.
Yeah, fantastic point. Joe, before we let you go, this This was brought up a couple times from Sunak and von der Leyen in different words. Sunak said stability. Von der Leyen said violence has no place. In terms of the historical context, how important would a deal be?
It will be very important in that the Good Friday Agreement has prevailed for so long now, but has come under pressure of the tensions caused by the protocol. You had the Democratic Unionist Party, key figures in the unionist community, refusing to participate in power sharing in Northern Ireland because of the protocol. So if Rishi Sunak can say, look, here's my deal, and bring the DV back on site and get them back into government in Northern Ireland, that would really resolve that political issue and reduce tension, reduce political tension in Northern Ireland, and that would be very welcome. So yeah, it's an important moment for that issue.
Thank you both. We really appreciate it. Thanks for hanging in with us on it as well. That press conference is going. We'll bring you any updates as they cross the Bloomberg Marina as in Dublin and Joe Mays in Westminster. This is Bloomberg.
And lastly, we've got Le Soir.
Claude enough for the Belgian newspaper Le Soir. Would you
You bring Hitler to justice. You can finally be finished.
We need to work together.
We hunt him down and kill him.
Want to be the star of your favorite TV game show? Just say, Alexa, let's play a game. All you have to do is choose what you want to play on your Echo devices. Make every night a game night with Alexa. To let the fun begin, say, Alexa, let's play a game.
Eyes whispered how we met. You can't remember how we felt. You get to experience it all over again. Now, we will always find a way back to each other.
Is this real? Am I really on Amazon Live? We are here on Amazon Live. Hello, everyone.
We are live from the Beverly Hills Hotel. You can chat with me. There's a live chat going on. People like you that we love getting to connect with. Make sure you guys follow me. The shop below. This is a really cute purse. It's cute. It's the easiest shopping in the entire world. Go to Amazon.com/live or open the Amazon Live shopping app and watch on Fire TV.
Here's what I'm watching. You do not want to miss this story.
They have a kind of upside. All right, guys on assignment. Danny's in Westminster, so I am playing the role of Guy for the European market. We're closing about half an hour time. You have European stocks 600 up by about 1%. Now we are off the highs, but at one point we were rallying the most since December of last year. A couple things under the radar here is German 10-year yield. We have not seen this level since 2011, and because of that, we're seeing a lot of European banks outperform. You can have higher yields and higher. Go figure, especially when it comes to some of the value names. And we were just looking at that presser between Ursula von der Leyen and Rishi Sunak, finally coming to a Windsor agreement that really fixes all the trade issues, supposedly, between Europe.
This is WLBT First Alert Weather.
Patrick's here to talk more about the weather.
Hey, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Warm and windy outside this morning, and some changes on the way down. More up this week. So if you're a fan of spring and you've been in warm weather, now some of us need it as much warm weather as like something like 85 degrees here this weekend. But places up north, in the 50s on the weekend. But depending on where you are, how things are going to play out for you, all of us are going to be quite warm here for the next couple of days. And eventually something has got to change. That change is coming soon enough. Not today, though, even though we do have a front that will be moving through the region. Here's a live look outside from our first alert sky cam that's coming from the top of the region's possibility. You see the camera bouncing up and down, so give me some. That's impact number one. Your winds picking up today. Upper 60s, low 70s. That's your baseline here this morning. We've had a few showers moving through Attala and Lee counties. You see some scattered downpours developing out to the west of us. That is our frontal boundary that will be shifting through the area into the early afternoon hours. Outside of that, warm and windy, with temperatures topping out in the upper 70s, lower 80s. There are your wind gusts today, 30 to 40 mile per hour wind gusts expected as we go through and early evening hours. That will be more so out of the south and west, turning more westerly on the backside of the front and the side as we head through the overnight period. But there is a back to reality. We should not necessarily in the 70s and 80s this time of the year. We should be in the 60s. We will eventually get back to that, but how do we get there? There's two systems that will have to move through the area. One on Wednesday, another one coming up on Thursday. They're interconnected. So the first system will sweep. That'll bring us a front that will bring us a chance for some stronger storms. I think mainly north of I-20. As we head towards the afternoon, evening hours of Wednesday. The main event, though, will be this storm system coming out of the Rocky Corners region. That will shift eastward. And there will be two rounds of storms possibly with this. Thursday afternoon and early evening, there could be storms that could develop in this warm sector ahead of the squall line that will shift in our direction heading through the latter portion of your Thursday into early Friday morning. So that's why we're high. Now notice the rain chance is there 40% during the daytime hours, up to 70% as we head through the overnight period. Speaking of which, there is a severe weather risk that comes along with that. An elevated risk, in fact, across all of central and southwest Mississippi. And it's a very wide berth of time that will start during Thursday and end early Friday morning. Should be out by the morning commute on Friday, but still nonetheless, the potential for damaging winds, large hail, and a few tornadoes. Beyond that, seasonable air filters in here, much cooler on Friday and windy too. I think the winds are going to stay elevated for Friday, but we'll clear things out and looking pretty good as we head to the first weekend of March.
You have probably seen a lot of African-American men on TV and in books who were amazing leaders of the civil rights movement. But did you know there are also countless African-American women who were considered change agents during that time? They served as organizers, fundraisers, attorneys, educators, doctors, religious leaders, nuns, nurses, and even business owners. So on this last Sunday of Black History Month, we shine a special light on the women, their lives on the line to fight against racism, sexism, and injustice. They were strong and intelligent women who did not care about the spotlight. They just wanted to make this world a better place.
You know, when you think about African American women or African women being enslaved, and after enslavement and the emancipation, and these women always wanted to be somebody. They come from this resilience.
And that resilience was the start of a legacy of women who set out to change the atmosphere of discrimination, segregation, and systematic inequality plaguing parts of the country.
Of course, we hear a lot about the amazing men that were part of the movement, but we don't hear about those women. Those women like Aileen Quinn from Macomb, Mississippi, who owned a restaurant, was a single mother of 4 children, and how she protests and how she was going back and forth and helping people to register to vote. This amazing woman who brought a protest to Jackson, Mississippi.
Pamela Jr. is the director of the Civil Rights Museum right here in Jackson. And inside, there are countless women from small towns to big cities who made it their mission to advocate for change, many who never were spotlight seekers.
And Deshae Holland from Greenwood, Mississippi, stopped school at 11 years old. So many things happened to her. Ended up being a prostitute. And she followed a SNCC member, and I won't say his name, but she followed him into the SNCC office. She saw Black women typing. She saw Black women doing professional work, and she wanted to be a part of that. There are photographs of her following Medgar Evers or working and marching and protesting. And Desha Ida-Mae Holland went on to get her GED. She went on to get her master's degree and her PhD and became a novelist.
Also in the museum, you will find a living legend.
Women were really the glue that held the movement together.
Dr. Flonzie Brown Wright will tell you she never wanted to be in the public eye. Instead, it was a calling she answered.
Being elected in 1968 as the first African-American female to hold a public office with the exception of my bio.
The position of election commissioner in Canton, Mississippi allowed her to correct many voting rights injustices. She also worked with some great men of the movement like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and many others locally and nationally. But it wasn't easy.
During the 1966 march, when Dr. King and others came through Canton and stayed a few days, we were tear gassed. And I still wear the scars because I was trampled along with a lot of other people.
So what made you continue? Because you were what, shot at?
Tear gas, life threatened. Every morning at 2 o'clock, I would get a call. Nigga, we gonna kill you. So I would have to sleep with my telephone off the hook in between my mattress to get a good night's sleep.
And although she went through some challenges, just like many other women in the movement, she never complained. Instead, she used her voice to fight, a story she shares to this day when talking about her life.
Many of them ask me, well, how did you keep going? I think I heard you ask me that. What kept you going? How did you keep moving? And I say to them, we knew you were coming. And Patrice, I knew you were coming, Mr. Cameron. We knew you were coming because we were fighting for you.
And that spirit to fight for civil rights in the face of adversity was shared by a classmate and best friend of Flossie Brown Wright, the late Sister Thea Bowman. The granddaughter of slaves grew up to become a supporter of civil rights, religious values, and she was not afraid to confront racial and cultural barriers.
With being the first African American nun to be part of the Franciscan Sisters Perpetual Adoration, at a point she was obligated to adhere to their principles and their ideals and practices. But with her background, being an African American, she brought in the traditions of gospel music and hymnals and spirituals.
Dr. LaShonda Calvert is a history professor at Hines Community College, and she says the history maker didn't seek the spotlight. Instead, the devoted Christian followed her heart to effect change. In fact, she says Sister Bowman founded the National Black Sisters Conference to provide support for African American women in the Catholic religious life. Bowman died of bone cancer in 1990, and in 2018, the Catholic Diocese of Jackson submitted Bowman to the Vatican for sainthood, and she was designated as the servant of God.
And they made their efforts known. It wasn't about them because they knew one day that their names would be out there, but it was about the grunt work, getting the work done.
And the message to young women watching.
If you want to be proud of yourself, you have got to do things you can be proud of.
Be brave, be bold, take your place so that when history is rewritten, it should contain your name.
What happened to your last name?
Like I tell.
I know what you're afraid of.
You're gonna leave me, aren't you?
I'm not going anywhere.
Promise, promise?
Cross my heart and I have to die.
You regret me and I regret you. Go ahead and regret me, but I'll leave you till I do.
Again tonight with more gun violence on the streets of Jackson. A man is dead and another person injured after a neighborhood shooting. Three of your side's Holly Emery was on the scene this evening. She joins us now with details. Holly.
That's right, Patrice. A heavy police presence earlier this evening on North Jefferson Street near Harding Street, and Capitol Police Chief Bo Lucky says parties involved knew one another.
The intersection of Jefferson Street and Harding Street is where gunshots rang out and two men were shot Sunday afternoon.
Once we arrived on the scene, they covered